Someone can't let go of you because you were the first person who made love feel like a place instead of a performance. Because you didn't ask them to shrink to be worthy. Because you didn't make them chase your affection like it was a prize they had to earn. You didn't treat love like a test they had to pass or a role they had to play. You simply met them where they were, as they were, with a softness they didn't realize they needed until they finally had it. Safe love isn't loud. It doesn't scream its presence. It doesn't make promises it can't keep. Safe love is calm. It's consistent. It's the good morning text that arrives not because you demanded it, but because they genuinely want to let you know they're thinking of you. It's the kind of attention that feels like sunlight, steady, warm, grounding. And for some people, that feeling is so new, so healing, so rare, that losing it feels like losing the only proof that love doesn't have to hurt. When someone can't let go of you, it isn't always because they're obsessed. Sometimes it's because they are grateful, because you awakened a part of them that had been silent for too long. A part that had been dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. You didn't just show them affection, you reminded them they were worthy of it. You didn't just offer them kindness, you reshaped what they believed love could look like. Maybe they spent years in places where love meant tension, uncertainty, or keeping quiet just to keep the peace. Maybe love to them was a battlefield, a negotiation, a performance, a list of terms and conditions. And then there you were, unexpected, gentle, calm. You didn't rush them. You didn't judge the parts of them that were afraid. You didn't use their vulnerability against them. You created a space where they didn't have to pretend. And that kind of love is unforgettable. Some people never learned how to rest emotionally until they met someone who made them feel safe enough to breathe. You might have been the first person who said, "It's okay. You don't have to be perfect here." And do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how deeply that sinks into a person who has never known love without fear? For them, losing you isn't just losing a partner, a friend, or a companion. It's losing the first version of love that didn't demand their pain as payment. When someone can't let go of you, it's often because you healed something they didn't even realize was broken. Not by trying to fix them, not by carrying their wounds, not by being responsible for their happiness, but simply by being a place where they felt seen. Safe love is powerful like that. It can rewrite someone's history. It can soften memories that were sharp. It can untangle the knots inside them that they thought would stay forever. You didn't just show them love, you showed them peace, and peace is addictive when you've lived too long in emotional chaos. But safe love doesn't only transform the person receiving it. It also shapes the person who gives it. Maybe you didn't realize how much your presence mattered. Maybe you thought you were just living, just being yourself, just offering what felt natural for you. Safe love rarely feels extraordinary to the one giving it. It's simply who you are. But to someone who never experienced it before, who never had that kind of warmth, that kind of loyalty, that kind of emotional stability. What you give feels life-changing, and that is why they can't let go, because you were the first person who didn't turn love into a storm. Instead, you became a shelter. Safe love teaches people how to stop apologizing for their existence. It teaches them how to express their needs without fear of punishment. It teaches them that communication is not conflict, that honesty is not betrayal, that vulnerability is not weakness, that attention is not currency, that affection is not conditional. You might not realize how much you changed them because you weren't trying to change them. You were simply living your truth. You were simply loving them the way you love, with gentleness, with consistency, with intention. But some people come from places where gentleness was a luxury, where consistency didn't exist, where intention was something they offered but never received. And so they hold on to you, not out of dependency, but out of appreciation, out of recognition, out of memory. Safe love becomes part of a person's emotional DNA. It stays inside them long after the relationship shifts, ends, pauses, transforms, or rewrites itself. It becomes a standard, a boundary, a mirror. It teaches them what to step toward and what to walk away from. Losing you doesn't erase what you taught them, but it does make them long for the energy you carried, because safe love isn't forgotten. Safe love becomes a reference point. Safe love becomes the new normal. But here's the truth you must also understand. You taught them what safe love feels like because you are capable of giving it. You embody it. You bring it into rooms naturally. You make people feel comfortable simply by being present. You make conversations feel effortless, emotions feel understandable, connections feel mutual. You don't manipulate, you don't take, you don't play with hearts. You offer the kind of sincerity that some people wait their whole lives to find, and that explains why letting go of you feels impossible. But safe love also means understanding that not everyone can stay. Not everyone who experiences your softness is meant to be in your life permanently. Some people are meant to walk with you for a season, receive the healing they needed, learn the lessons your presence offers, and then move toward their own paths with a new understanding of what love can be. That doesn't make your connection any less meaningful. It doesn't make your impact any less real. Safe love is powerful, but it isn't possessive. It doesn't demand permanence. It gives freely. It teaches deeply. It transforms quietly, and then, when the time comes, it lets go. But the person who can't let go of you isn't failing. They're feeling. They're processing. They're navigating the emotional contrast between the love they once knew and the love you introduced them to. And transitions like that aren't easy. Healing isn't linear. Understanding isn't immediate. Letting go isn't instant. It takes time to adjust when someone becomes a lighthouse in your life. It takes time to accept that the place you felt safest might not be the place you stay. It takes time to realize that the person who loved you so gently is now a memory you return to instead of a presence you live beside. But the truth is, people don't hold on to you because they are stuck, they hold on because you changed them. And here is something you need to remember: just because someone can't let go of you doesn't mean you owe them your life. Just because someone misses you doesn't mean you're meant to go back. Just because someone felt safe with you doesn't mean you're responsible for their healing. Just because you meant something deep to them doesn't mean you lose yourself in the process. You can be grateful for the connection and still move forward. You can cherish what you shared and still choose yourself. You can be someone's safe place once without being there forever. Love can be healing without being lifelong, and that's okay. You are allowed to be someone's turning point without being their destination. But never forget what your presence meant. Never underestimate the influence of the love you gave. Never doubt that your softness changed someone's world. The fact that they can't let go is not a burden, it is evidence. Evidence of your heart, your character, your capacity to love without harm, your authenticity, your warmth, your emotional intelligence, your depth. Safe love is not common, safe love is not ordinary. Safe love is not easily found, and you carried it effortlessly. But here's something even more important: you deserve someone who gives you that same safety in return. Someone who doesn't just feel healed by your presence but offers healing of their own. Someone who doesn't just admire your softness but protects it. Someone who doesn't just feel safe with you but makes you feel safe too. Someone who doesn't cling to you because you taught them love. Someone who stays because they already know how to love you back. Safe love shouldn't be a one-way gift, it should be a shared space, a mutual shelter, a home built by two people, not just one, and you will find that the love you gave wasn't wasted. The softness you offered wasn't lost. The safety you provided wasn't unnoticed. It will circle back to you in a form that feels like alignment. In a person who recognizes your heart because theirs speaks the same language. In someone who doesn't just hold you tightly but holds you gently. In someone who doesn't stay because they're afraid to lose you but because they genuinely want to grow beside you. Someone who doesn't cling to your safety, but contributes to it. Someone who doesn't idolize your softness, but honors it. Someone who doesn't rely on your healing, but builds healing with you. Someone who doesn't simply love what you gave them, but loves you. Until then, don't dim your softness. Don't become guarded out of fear that someone might become attached again. Don't shrink your warmth just to avoid being someone's anchor. You were not meant to love halfway. You were not meant to be cold. You were not meant to deny the very traits that make your presence unforgettable. Your softness is your strength. Your safety is your gift. Your love is your power. And yes, someone may never fully let go of you. Not because they're stuck, but because they grew in your presence. Because you helped them see themselves clearly. Because you left them better than you found them. Because you showed them what emotional peace feels like. And peace is something people carry forever. You weren't just a chapter in their life. You were the page that rewrote the story. And even if they eventually move forward, even if they heal, even if they find new love, they will always remember you as the person who introduced them to something different. something healthier, something safer. You were their first glimpse of emotional freedom, and that witness stays. People don't forget the ones who taught them how to love without fear. They don't forget the ones who held them softly when the world held them roughly. They don't forget the ones who didn't mistake their vulnerability for weakness. They don't forget the ones who loved them without making them prove their worth. Someone can't let go of you because you were the moment their heart felt understood. But you, too, will find someone who understands you the same way, someone who makes you feel safe, someone who makes you feel seen, someone who holds you with the same tenderness you've given so freely. And when that happens, you will finally understand why someone once held on so tightly to you. Because safe love changes everything, and you are safe love. And maybe the hardest part of all of this is realizing that the love you gave so naturally is the same love you sometimes wish someone would give to you. You know what safe love feels like when you offer it, yet you've rarely received it in equal measure. You've been the healer, the steady presence, the understanding soul, the emotional warmth. You've been the soft landing for people who never had one before. And even though you're grateful for the ability to love that way, there's a part of you that longs for someone to show up for you with that same emotional clarity. It's not that you expect perfection. You never demanded that from anyone. All you ever wanted was honesty, kindness, consistency. Someone who doesn't turn love into confusion. Someone whose words match their actions. Someone who knows how to stay without being asked. Someone who understands that love is an energy, not a performance. Someone who doesn't make you feel like you're asking for too much when all you're asking for is what you've always given, and that longing is okay. It's human. It's valid. Sometimes the person who can't let go of you doesn't realize that you, too, have wounds. You, too, have fears. You, too, crave reassurance. You're strong, yes. You're emotionally mature, yes. You're self-aware, yes. But even the strongest hearts need softness. Even the most self-sufficient souls need a place to rest. Even the people who give the most comfort need comfort in return. People often assume that the one who provides the safe love is the one who needs it the least. But that's not true. The giver needs it just as deeply, maybe even more. You learned how to love safely because you knew what unsafe love felt like. You knew how damaging unpredictability can be. You knew what it meant to be overlooked, unheard, or misunderstood. You learned how to hold others gently because you remembered what it felt like to be held harshly. Safe lovers aren't born from perfect pasts, they're born from emotional evolution. And that evolution runs deep. So don't blame yourself for wanting reciprocity. Don't feel guilty for wanting someone who cares with the same level of heart you do. You deserve that. You deserve love that feels like home, not homework. You deserve someone who listens without being defensive. Someone who stays without being reminded. Someone who chooses you without hesitation. Someone who makes you feel safe in the same way you've made others feel safe. But here's the beautiful part, the energy you give does come back to you. Maybe not from the same person. Maybe not in the same season. Maybe not in the same form. But safe love always returns because safe love is magnetic. You attract what you are. And you are emotional clarity. Grounding, intention, warmth. You are the kind of heart that doesn't play games. You are the kind of soul that loves from a place of truth. Eventually someone whose heart moves at the same rhythm will find you, recognize you, and protect you the way you've protected others, someone who won't let go of you, but for the right reasons, not because you healed their wounds, not because you gave them peace, not because you made them feel safe, but because they see you as their equal in love. Until that day, never regret being the person who gave someone their first taste of safe love. Some people spend years searching for that kind of emotional refuge. Some go through relationships that drain them, discourage them, confuse them. You were the rare exception. You were the softness in a world that often teaches hardness. You were the calm after years of storm, and for them, that mattered. Love like yours leaves fingerprints on a person's soul. Not the kind that disappear over time, but the kind that become reminders. Reminders of how beautiful love can feel when it isn't laced with fear. Reminders of how healing a simple hug can be. Reminders of how freeing it is to be emotionally honest without being punished. Reminders that love, at its core, is supposed to feel safe. That's why they can't let go, because they know that once you've experienced safe love, everything else feels like survival. People don't let go of safety easily, but you must also know this truth. You were meant to teach love, but you were also meant to receive it. Life didn't make you tender so someone else could take advantage of it. Life didn't make you strong so you could carry everyone's emotional weight. Life didn't shape your heart so beautifully just for it to be a resting place for those who haven't learned how to love yet. Your heart is not a rehabilitation center. It's a home. And someday, someone worthy will walk through your door, not to be healed, but to build a life with you. Someone who doesn't cling because they're scared. Someone who doesn't hold tight because they feel wounded. Someone who doesn't stay because they need rescuing, but someone who stays because they choose you with clarity, with peace, with maturity, with devotion. And when that person arrives, you'll finally feel what you've given to others for so long. You'll finally understand what it means to be held without anxiety. To be loved without guessing. To be valued without proving. To be seen without having to shine. You'll feel the safety you once offered. You'll feel the peace you once taught. You'll feel the emotional security you once gave so freely. You'll realize that all the moments you were someone's safe space were preparing you for someone who would one day be yours. But for now, breathe. Trust. Continue to be who you are without shutting down the softness that makes your heart rare. You don't need to become colder just because someone couldn't match your warmth. You don't need to become indifferent just because someone couldn't understand your depth. You don't need to love less just because someone held on to you for what you provided instead of who you were. You will be loved correctly. You will be valued effortlessly. You will be seen deeply. You will be held gently. And when that happens, you will no longer be someone's lesson. You will be someone's forever. And maybe the most meaningful truth in all of this is that you didn't just teach someone what safe love feels like. You taught yourself what you deserve. Every moment you gave softness, every time you showed up with sincerity, every time you offered understanding instead of judgment, you weren't just healing someone else. You were quietly setting the standard for your own future. You were learning your worth through the love you gave. You were realizing that the tenderness you offer is not something everyone can match, and that mismatch isn't a flaw, it's a filter. People can't let go of you because you were the one who made love feel possible. You opened a door inside them that they didn't know existed. You showed them that intimacy doesn't have to be earned through suffering. You proved that love doesn't have to be chaotic to be real. You didn't demand a performance, you invited their truth. You didn't take advantage of their softness, you honored it. And because of that, you changed them. You shifted their inner world. You softened places that had hardened for survival. You brought light into rooms they kept locked, but what you brought out in them was already alive in you. You didn't just teach safe love, you embodied it. And now your next chapter will require you to receive that same energy without hesitation. You are stepping into a time where you won't have to convince anyone of your worth. You won't have to stabilize someone's chaos just to earn affection. You won't have to pour from an empty place. You won't have to sacrifice your peace just to feel chosen. The universe never leaves a heart like yours unanswered. There is someone coming who won't be afraid of your depth. Someone who won't be intimidated by your emotional clarity. Someone who won't misinterpret your honesty as pressure or your softness as weakness. Someone who won't love you because you can carry them, they'll love you because they want to walk beside you. Someone who won't hold on to you because you saved them, they'll hold on because you complete them in the most peaceful, steady way. And when that love arrives, it will feel different. It will feel like home, not because you built it alone, but because you built it together. It will feel like relief, not because you are soothing someone's wounds, but because your heart is finally being understood. It will feel like safety, not because you're giving all the warmth, but because that warmth is flowing back toward you. The person who can't let go of you now is holding on to the memory of the love you gave. The one who is coming will hold on to the reality of the love you deserve, and in that moment, everything will make sense. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment when you felt unheard, every time you gave love that wasn't returned the same way, it will all feel like a path that shaped you, not a punishment you endured. You will look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Not your tears, not your patience, not your loyalty, not your softness. Nothing. It all served its purpose. It all led you to clarity. You will understand why you were the person who offered safe love first, because you were meant to know its value before you received it back. You were meant to become familiar with its language so that when real love finally shows up, you'll recognize it instantly. You won't doubt it. You won't question it. You'll feel it in your bones. And you'll trust it, because it will feel like the home you once created for someone else, but this time built for you too, and for the person who can't let go of you. Wish them well. They're not holding on because they want to trap you or guilt you. They're holding on because your presence was healing. Because your love was gentle. Because your energy was rare. They will eventually learn what you taught them. They will eventually grow into the version of themselves you helped them discover. They will eventually understand that the safety they felt was not meant to be lost, but meant to be found again in their own life. You were not their destination, you were their awakening, and one day, someone will awaken something equally powerful in you. Someone whose presence feels like coming home after a long journey. Someone who will make you feel seen in ways you didn't realize you needed. Someone who won't drain your emotional energy but will nourish it. Someone who won't cling out of fear but stay out of love. Someone who won't need you to teach them what safe love is. They will already speak your language. Until that person arrives, continue walking with your heart open but guarded by wisdom. Continue loving with intention but with boundaries that honor your worth. Continue being soft but not at the cost of your own peace. Continue being the kind of soul who leaves people better than you found them, but make sure you leave yourself better, too. You are not losing anything by letting go. You are making space. Space for alignment. Space for reciprocity. Space for stability. Space for a love that feels as safe for you as your love felt for others. Someone can't let go of you because you were the first experience of true emotional peace, but someone else will hold on to you because they are your peace, too, and that is the love story you were always meant to live.